Hey Queens, welcome back to the channel. Today, I need you to hear me loud and clear, because what I'm about to tell you will change the way you see everything. What if I told you he's still watching, he still thinks about you, he still wonders what you're up to, but he will never, ever reach out. Not because he doesn't care, not because he's moved on, but because of something far more powerful, his own ego, his own pride, and the torment of silent regret. He won't admit it, he won't show it, but he feels it. Every time he scrolls past your pictures, every time your name flashes in his mind, every time he hears a song that reminds him of you, he remembers, he replays, and yet he will never press send. Because the moment he does, he loses. The moment he reaches out, he exposes himself. He shows you that you still exist in his mind, and for a man who once thought he was in control, that realization is unbearable. Instead, he convinces himself that staying silent makes him stronger, that not reaching out is proof of his power. But deep down, every time someone mentions you, every time he sees something that reminds him of you, something inside him twists. He feels the weight of his decision, but his pride won't let him undo it. And here's where most women fall into the trap. They wait, they hope, they check his social media, looking for a sign. They convince themselves that if they just say the right thing, if they just send one last text, he'll come back. But that's where you lose. Because the moment you chase, you become forgettable. The moment you reach out, you hand him your power on a silver platter. And let me tell you something, Queens. A woman who knows her worth never hands over her power. The world has lied to you. They told you that men move on faster, that he never cared, that he's out there living his best life while you sit here missing him. Lies. Men don't move on. They distract. They run. They drown themselves in temporary highs, meaningless conversations, and shallow attention, thinking that if they just keep moving, they won't have to feel. Because facing the truth, that's the one thing they're not built to do. A woman's power is in her ability to heal. A man's weakness is in his need to hide. And you, my queen, were never meant to chase someone who is hiding. So, what do? You walk. You walk away so completely that he has no choice but to feel your absence in his bones. You don't do it as a strategy. You don't do it to make him miss you. You do it because a woman who values herself does not wait for someone who was too blind to see her worth. And that right there, that's what haunts him the most. Because the human mind cannot stand an open loop. He expected you to reach out. He expected you to break. He expected you to fight for him. That would have reassured him, validated his decision. But when you do nothing, when you go so silent, so distant, that he starts questioning if he ever mattered to you at all, that's when the real suffering begins. And that's where you win. Not by proving your worth, not by waiting for closure, not by seeking revenge, but by removing yourself so completely from his world that he has no choice but to sit with the weight of his own regret. And by the time he realizes what he lost, you'll be too far ahead to care. So this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it with me. I release what I cannot control. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done waiting, done hoping, done giving your energy to what no longer serves you. Because today, you reclaim your power. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, Queens. Let's begin. Number 1. When indifference becomes your superpower. Most women are taught a lie from the moment they begin to love. If you show him how much you care, if you prove your worth, if you fight for him, he will come back. But that's not how the human mind works. That's not how desire works. That's not how regret is created. The moment you try to convince him, the moment you reach out, the moment you beg, plead, or even subtly hint at missing him, you confirm his decision to leave. You lower your value in his eyes, because nothing is less attractive than a woman who chases a man who no longer wants her. It tells him one thing: she needs me more than I need her. And in the game of attraction, the one who needs less always holds the power. So, if chasing doesn't work, if explaining yourself doesn't work, if even being the bigger person doesn't work, what does? The answer is something most people will never master: the art of indifference. Indifference is not about pretending not to care. It's about genuinely not caring. It's about detaching so completely that his choices no longer affect you. Because once you realize that his actions are not a reflection of your worth, but rather a reflection of his own fears, limitations, and immaturity, you stop taking them personally. You stop needing him to validate you. And that's where you become untouchable. The moment a man realizes you did not crumble without him, that you did not break, that you are not sitting by the phone waiting for his return, that's when the doubt creeps in. That's when his mind starts whispering questions he never thought he'd ask. Did I really mean that little to her? Why isn't she fighting for me? Did I make a mistake? Because here's a harsh truth: people don't regret losing love. They regret losing value. They regret losing something they thought they could replace, but couldn't. And that is exactly why indifference is so powerful. The mind cannot stand uncertainty. When you give him nothing, no anger, no sadness, no jealousy, no reaction, he is forced to sit with his own thoughts, and those thoughts become obsessions. Because suddenly, the power dynamic has shifted. Suddenly, you are the one who is unpredictable. Suddenly, you are the one he cannot figure out. And there is nothing more haunting than an unanswered question. Most women fail here. They think the way to win the breakup is to make him jealous, to post thirst traps, to show off their amazing new life. But that's still a reaction. That's still energy directed at him. And the moment he sees that, he knows he still has control. Because you don't need to prove you've moved on when you truly have. The most powerful move? Give him nothing. No texts, no Instagram hints, no late-night emotional breakdowns in his DMS. You vanish. You move forward as if he never existed. Not as a game, not as manipulation, but as a mindset. Because the truth is, he no longer does. Let me tell you something. No man ever forgets the woman who walked away and never looked back. He may pretend. He may act unbothered. He may even replace you temporarily. But the moment he realizes you are truly gone, something inside him shifts. Because deep down, he expected you to break. He expected you to wait. He expected you to reach out and prove that he still mattered. And when you don't, when you go so silent, so indifferent, that he starts questioning if he ever meant anything to you, that's when he feels the loss. That's when the regret begins. And this is the part you might struggle with. You might be asking, but what if I really do care? What if I really do miss him? What if I want him back? Then you have to ask yourself a different question. Why would I want a man who doesn't want me? Why would I invest in someone who discarded me? Why would I lower myself for a man who has already shown me where I stand in his life? Let that sink in. When you truly love yourself, you will not tolerate someone who treats you as optional. You will not tolerate breadcrumbs of attention, half-hearted love, or inconsistency. You will not sit around waiting for someone to realize your worth. Because a high-value woman doesn't wait to be chosen. She chooses herself. And when a man sees a woman who chooses herself, who does not beg, who does not seek validation, who simply continues thriving, growing, and becoming even more radiant without him, he realizes he lost something he will never get back: your attention. And let me tell you something about a man's mind. He can handle rejection. He can handle heartbreak. But what he cannot handle is irrelevance. So, if you are ready to stop seeking validation, if you are ready to truly reclaim your power, if you are ready to master the art of indifference, not as a game, not as a strategy, but as a way of life, this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I am unshakable. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done waiting, done chasing, and done giving your energy to anyone who does not see your worth. Because today you rise. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 2. When silence screams louder than words. Most women believe that if they just say the right thing, if they send the perfect message, if they explain themselves better, he will change his mind. That somehow the right combination of words will unlock his heart and make him see what he lost. But let me tell you something that will save you years of heartache. Words don't change people's feelings. Absence does. The moment you stop talking, the moment you stop explaining, the moment you go completely silent, that's the moment he starts to feel your presence more than ever. Silence is a void, and the human brain hates a void. It scrambles to fill it. He starts wondering why you're not reaching out. He checks his phone more often than he wants to admit. He scrolls through old messages, looking for clues. He replays your last words in his head, searching for answers. And the silence, it starts to eat at him. See, he expected you to fight. He expected you to plead. He expected you to reach out, even if just to get closure. Because that's what people do when they care, right? They fight for love. They ask for answers. They make one last effort to fix things. And when you don't, when you do the one thing he never saw coming, absolutely nothing, it messes with his head in a way that no words ever could. Now, instead of feeling in control, he feels something he's never felt before: uncertainty. Did I make a mistake? Is she already over me? Why isn't she reacting? And that right there, that's when the regret begins. Because here's a truth no one wants to admit. We don't miss people when they're around. We miss them when they're gone. Your words, your love, your presence. He took them for granted when they were freely given. But now they're gone. Every word you would have said, every message you would have sent, is now just an empty space in his life. And that space? It grows bigger every day. Most women ruin this by breaking the silence too soon. They get impatient. They think, maybe I should just check in. Maybe he's waiting for me to reach out. Maybe he just needs to see that I still care. Nope. Every time you break the silence, you reset the clock. You remove the mystery. You give him back the control. And the moment he sees that you're still emotionally attached, he no longer has to wonder. But when you stay silent, when you let him sit with the weight of his own decision, when you don't give him the relief of knowing how you feel, he starts to realize something terrifying. Your absence feels worse than he expected. That's when he starts watching in silence. That's when he starts lurking, hoping for a sign that you still care. He won't reach out right away. His pride won't let him, but he'll be checking. He'll be noticing. He'll be waiting for you to slip up, to post something that reveals you're still thinking about him, to give him some kind of hint that he still has a place in your life. But you remain indifferent, because you understand something most people never will. Silence isn't weakness, it's power. Silence creates doubt. Doubt creates regret. And regret is what makes people realize what they lost. You cannot talk someone into valuing you. You cannot explain your worth to someone who was blind to it when you were right in front of them. But you can remove yourself so completely that they have no choice but to feel the loss. So, this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. My silence is my power. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done begging, done chasing, and done giving your energy to someone who took you for granted. Because today you choose yourself. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 3, when your absence becomes your power. Here's a hard truth that will change the way you see everything. The more available you are, the less valuable you become. The more you chase, the faster he runs. The more you try to prove your worth, the less he feels it. But the moment you disappear, the moment you remove yourself completely from his world, that's when your presence starts to haunt him. This is the paradox of absence. When something is always there, it's taken for granted. But when it's gone, its value becomes undeniable. Think about it. Have you ever only truly appreciated something after it was no longer yours? Have you ever lost something and suddenly realized how much you depended on it, how much you needed it? That's how the human mind works. It doesn't miss what's still accessible. It misses what it believes is gone forever. Right now, he assumes you'll always be there. He assumes that if he ever wanted to, he could reach out and you'd still be waiting. That's the comfort he rests in. And as long as you linger, even in the background, he never really feels the loss. He doesn't have to. But the moment you remove yourself completely, when he looks for you and you're no longer there, when he reaches out and is met with silence, when he checks your social media and sees nothing that includes him, that's when reality hits. That's when doubt starts creeping in. And doubt is dangerous, because once it enters the mind, it spreads like wildfire. Did I make the right choice? Why hasn't she reached out? Has she already moved on? What if I was wrong? Because here's what you need to understand. He didn't think he was losing you forever. He expected a break, a pause, a temporary space. He thought you'd sit there, waiting, hoping, hurting, available when he decided he wanted to come back. But when you step away completely, when you go silent, when you move forward like he never existed, that's when he feels the loss. That's when regret starts to creep in. And this is the part where most women fail. They try to use absence as a trick, as a game, as a strategy to get him back. But the truth is, the power of absence only works when it's real, when you truly walk away, not to punish him, not to make him chase you, but because you finally understand your worth. Because a woman who values herself does not wait. A woman who values herself does not accept being an option. A woman who values herself does not sit around hoping that one day he'll wake up and see what was right in front of him all along. No. A woman who values herself removes herself from the table when she is no longer being served. She does not beg to be chosen. She does not settle for half love. She does not hold space for a man who already let her go. And when a man realizes that, when he sees that you were not just waiting in the background, hoping for his return, when he understands that you are actually gone, that's when the panic sets in. That's when he starts questioning everything, because deep down, he was sure he could always come back. He thought you would always be there. And now he doesn't know. And that uncertainty, that is what haunts him. But by the time he realizes it, you won't be waiting anymore. So, this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I do not chase. I attract. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done being an option, done waiting, and done giving your power away. Because today you step into the version of yourself that never begs, never settles, and never waits for someone to see her worth. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 4. Becoming emotionally untouchable. Most women believe that to heal, they have to suppress their emotions, to pretend they don't care, to act like nothing hurts, to fake indifference. But that's not power. That's avoidance. And avoidance always backfires. True power. True power comes from mastering your emotions, not running from them. Because here's the truth, pain is inevitable, heartbreak is inevitable, loss is inevitable, but suffering, that's a choice. And the women who rise, the women who become truly untouchable, they don't run from their pain. They face it, feel it, and master it. Emotional detachment is not about being numb. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about controlling your emotions instead of letting them control you. It's about acknowledging loss without letting it define you. And once you learn this, you become unshakable. Think of it like this. When a storm comes, weak trees break. But strong trees, they bend, they sway, but they don't fall. That's what mastering emotional detachment does for you. It makes you stronger than the storm. Right now, your emotions feel overwhelming. The memories, the regrets, the what-ifs, they try to pull you back. They try to convince you that you need closure, that you need answers, that you need him to acknowledge your pain before you can let go. But let me ask you this. Why would you give someone else that kind of power over you? Why would you let a person who walked away decide when you get to move forward? Why would you allow someone else to dictate your healing? That's not love. That's attachment. And attachment is a cage. So how do you break free? How do you truly detach? You do it by shifting your focus. Instead of obsessing over what you lost, you start building something greater. Instead of drowning in emotions, you channel them into growth. You take that pain and you use it. Because here's the secret no one tells you. Pain is power when you learn how to control it. Every successful person, every powerful woman, every unstoppable force you've ever admired, they all have one thing in common. They turned their pain into their fuel. They didn't let heartbreak break them. They let it forge them. And you are no different. The moment you stop giving energy to the past, the moment you stop feeding emotions that no longer serve you, the moment you choose to rise instead of wallow, that's the moment you become untouchable. That's the moment you step into a version of yourself that no one can manipulate, no one can break, no one can control. And when you reach that level, no man, no loss, no rejection will ever shake you again. So this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I control my emotions. My emotions do not control me. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done being a prisoner to your feelings, done being controlled by what was, and done letting anyone else dictate your worth. Because today, you master yourself. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 5. The law of scarcity. Become the rarest woman he'll ever know. Here's something that will change the way you see yourself forever. People do not value what is always available. They value what is rare, what is difficult to obtain, and what they fear losing forever. This is the law of scarcity. Think about it. Why do people chase luxury? Why do they desire what they can't have? It's because the human mind is wired to crave what is limited, exclusive, and difficult to access. The moment something becomes abundant, the moment it's always there, it loses its value. Now, apply that to relationships. When you were there, when you gave your time, your energy, your love so freely, he didn't think twice about it. He assumed you'd always be around. He assumed that no matter what, he could reach out and you'd still be waiting. But the second you disappear completely, the second you become scarce, something shifts inside him. Your absence creates a void, and suddenly he starts to feel your value in a way he never did before. He begins to question everything. Why did she stop reaching out? Is she really over me? What if she never comes back? And that, right there, that's where the regret begins. See, people don't panic when they think they've lost something. They panic when they realize it's gone for good. And that's what scarcity does. It triggers urgency. It forces him to confront what he took for granted, and it makes him crave what he once dismissed. Most women don't understand this. They believe that by staying close, by reminding him of what he lost, by keeping the door open just a little bit, they will make him miss them. Wrong. That only reassures him that you're still an option. The truth? The only way to make someone truly value you is to remove yourself completely. No breadcrumbs, no half goodbyes, no lingering in the background. You must become so unreachable that he starts to doubt whether he ever really had you in the first place. And let me tell you something. A man never forgets the woman who vanished without a trace. She's the one who lingers in the back of his mind years later. She's the one he compares every other woman to. She's the one who becomes a mystery he can't solve, a question that was never answered. Because deep down, men want certainty. They want to know that you're still there, still thinking about them, still reachable. But when you take that certainty away, when you become the one who got away, that's when the obsession begins. So the question is, are you willing to become rare? Are you willing to stop being available, to stop being an option, to stop making it easy for someone to come and go from your life as they please? Because the moment you decide to do that, the moment you embrace your own rarity, everything changes. Not just in this situation, but in every part of your life. When you become scarce, people crave your presence. When you become rare, people fight for your attention. When you become exclusive, people respect your worth. And when he realizes that your absence is not a punishment, not a game, but a permanent shift in your energy, that's when the regret fully sets in. But by then, you won't care anymore. So this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I am rare. I am valuable. I am no one's option. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done being easy to access, done being taken for granted, and done waiting for someone to see your worth. Because today, you step into your power. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 6. Why he can't stop watching you in silence. Here's something most women don't realize. Even after he leaves, even after he says he's done, even after he acts like he doesn't care, he still watches you. Not because he's still in love, not because he wants to come back, but because curiosity is stronger than love. Your absence creates a mystery. Your silence becomes a question mark in his mind. And the human brain, it cannot handle unanswered questions. Right now, he assumes that if he ever wanted to, he could check in, and you'd still be there. He assumes that even if you're hurt, even if you're angry, deep down, you still care. That's the comfort he's resting in. But when you give him nothing, no breadcrumbs, no reaction, no energy, his mind starts playing tricks on him. What is she up to? Is she really over me? Has she moved on? Did she replace me? And that right there, that's where the obsession begins. Because the moment he sees you thriving without him, the moment he realizes your world did not stop because he left, the moment he understands that his absence did not destroy you, regret creeps in. This is how the human mind works. We always assume we have more time. We assume that people will wait for us, that they'll still be thinking about us, that they'll be there when we decide to turn around. But when he realizes you're not waiting, when he looks for you and you're already gone, that's when he starts to panic. And this is why he secretly watches. Not because he's happy for you, not because he wants to reconnect, but because he needs to know if he still has you. Because here's the ugly truth. People don't always miss you. They miss the control they once had over you. And when a man sees a woman he once had power over become untouchable, that's a wound to his ego that he never saw coming. Most women mess this up by giving obvious clues that they're still affected. They post things meant for him. They send indirect messages. They leave little breadcrumbs in the hope that he'll notice. That's the mistake. Because the second he knows you're still thinking about him, the mystery is gone. The game is over. His curiosity dies. But when you say nothing, when you show nothing, when you truly disappear, that's when he watches the hardest. And the best part, by the time he realizes what he lost, you won't even care. So this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I am no longer watching. I am moving forward. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done waiting, done watching, and done giving your energy to the past. Because today, you step fully into your power. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 7. The power of being unpredictable. Become the mystery he can't solve. If there's one thing that keeps a person hooked long after they've walked away, it's not love. It's not attraction. It's not even regret. It's confusion. Because the human mind hates uncertainty. It craves patterns. It wants to be able to predict what happens next. And when someone can't predict your actions, when they can't read you, when they can't figure out what you're thinking, they become obsessed. Most women make the same mistake after a breakup. They follow the expected pattern. He pulls away. She chases. He ignores her. She tries to get his attention. He moves on. She waits in the background. And because it's predictable, it's forgettable. But the moment you stop reacting the way he expects, the moment you stop following the script, the moment you become completely unreadable, that's when he starts paying attention. Because now he has no idea what's going on. Why isn't she reaching out? Why hasn't she reacted? Why does she seem happy? And suddenly, he's not as comfortable as he thought. See, he expected you to be broken. He expected you to wait. He expected to still have some kind of power over you. But now, he's lost the ability to predict you, and that makes him nervous. Because when something is unpredictable, it becomes intriguing. And the more intriguing you become, the more he's forced to think about you. Most women ruin this by trying to be strategically unpredictable, posting for attention, acting cold on purpose, trying to fake a new life just to make him notice. But that's still predictable, because deep down, he knows it's for him. The real power. You stop performing. You stop trying to make him notice. You stop playing the game entirely. You focus so completely on yourself, your growth, your life, that your actions become impossible for him to read. And that's what keeps him watching. One day, you were deeply in love with him. The next, you're completely gone. One day, he was sure he could come back whenever he wanted. The next, he's not so sure. One day, he was the most important thing in your world. The next, he's nothing but a memory. And that's when the fear sets in. Because nothing haunts a person more than a woman who truly moves on. So, this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I am unpredictable. I am unforgettable. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done following the old patterns, done being predictable, and done making it easy for anyone to figure you out. Because today, you step into mystery. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 8. The cold, hard truth about regret. When it's too late, it's too late. Regret doesn't hit like a lightning strike. It doesn't come the moment they walk away. It doesn't even come when they see you doing better without them. Regret creeps in slowly, quietly, like a shadow they never saw coming. At first, they feel relief. They tell themselves they made the right choice. They distract themselves, numb themselves, run from the silence that follows a breakup. And for a while, they think they're free. But then, something shifts. Maybe they see you laughing in a way they haven't seen before. Maybe they hear that you've been glowing differently, radiating peace they never gave you. Maybe they realize that every person they meet after you feels less. And suddenly, your absence starts to feel heavier than they ever expected. Because here's the truth they never saw coming. You were irreplaceable. Not because you begged, not because you chased, not because you tried to prove your worth, but because you vanished. You did not stick around to be an option. You did not wait for them to wake up and realize your value. You did not lower yourself to be chosen by someone who was blind to your worth the first time around. And that's when the real regret begins. Because now, it's too late. They scroll through their phone, debating whether to reach out. They type and delete messages, knowing deep down it won't change anything. They replay old moments, trying to figure out when they lost their place in your life. And the worst part, they know they did it to themselves. See, people only regret losing you when they know they can't get you back. As long as they think you're still waiting, as long as they believe they can return whenever they feel like it, regret never fully settles in. But when they look for you and find nothing, when they reach out and realize you've already moved on, that's when they feel the full weight of what they lost. And the most painful truth of all, they realize they never even got the chance to say goodbye, because the door they thought they could walk back through, it's already locked. And by the time they see it, by the time regret fully consumes them, you won't care anymore. So this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. By the time they regret losing me, I will be gone. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done being an option, done waiting for regret to set in, and done giving second chances to people who didn't deserve the first. Because today, you choose yourself. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 9. When he finally breaks the silence, the moment of truth. At some point, after all the silence, after all the pretending, after all the time that's passed, he will break. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe it's regret, maybe it's pure ego, needing to confirm that he still holds a place in your mind. But when he reaches out, it's not because he wants you back, it's not because he's changed, it's not because he finally understands what he lost. It's a test to see if you're still emotionally attached, a test to see if you'll make it easy for him to come back, a test to see if you still care. Because in his mind, he's not wondering if he made a mistake. He's wondering if you're still an option. And this is the moment that separates women who hold their power from women who hand it back. Most women fail here. The second he reaches out, they get excited. They overthink. They assume it means something deeper. They give him access again. And the moment you do that, the moment you respond with warmth, with interest, with even a hint of the emotions you once had for him, he knows he never really lost you. And that's all he needed to know. The moment he feels safe, knowing you still care, knowing you're still reachable, knowing you haven't truly let go, he pulls away again. And you're left exactly where you started, but a woman who understands her worth, a woman who has truly moved on. She responds with indifference, not anger, not excitement, not desperation, indifference. Because when you truly let go, when you have truly detached, when his presence no longer affects your emotions, he feels the loss more than ever. He expected to still have control. He expected to still hold a place in your heart. He expected to be able to return whenever he wanted. But now he's faced with a truth he never considered. You don't need him anymore. And that is what breaks him. Because men can handle rejection, they can handle distance, but what they cannot handle is the realization that they are irrelevant to a woman who once loved them. So when he finally reaches out, when he tries to break the silence, remember this: it's not about what he says, it's about what you do next. So, this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I owe no response to the past. Now, go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done giving second chances, done falling for the same patterns, and done allowing the past to hold any more power over you. Because today, you step fully into your future. And this is just the beginning. Stay tight, queens. Let's keep going. Number 10. Becoming untouchable, when nothing can shake you anymore. There is a moment in your journey when everything shifts, when the pain no longer stings, when the memories no longer haunt you, when the past no longer holds any weight over your future. That moment, that's when you become untouchable. Not because you've stopped feeling, not because you've become cold, but because you have evolved into someone who no longer seeks validation, no longer waits for closure, no longer needs anyone to recognize your worth, but you. You see, most people stay trapped in cycles of heartbreak because they are waiting for the apology, waiting for the regret, waiting for the moment the person who hurt them finally sees the damage they caused. But the moment you stop waiting, the moment you stop needing anything from the past, that's when you truly win. Because now, nothing can touch you. No text, no memory, no "I miss you," no last-minute attempt to come back. Nothing. And that's the moment they regret everything. Because at first, they think they have time. They think they can leave, explore, play games, and come back when they feel like it. But when they finally realize you're beyond their reach, when they see that you're not just ignoring them, you've genuinely outgrown them, that's when the real regret sets in. By then, you're already too far ahead to care, because the version of you that once cried over them, she's gone. The version of you that once needed their approval, she's gone. The version of you that once made herself small just to fit into their world, she's never coming back. And that is what makes you unforgettable. Because true power isn't in making someone miss you. It's in reaching a place where it no longer matters whether they do or not. So this is the moment to affirm with me. Say it out loud. I am untouchable. I am unstoppable. Now go and type it in the comments to let the universe find out that you are done seeking validation, done waiting for closure, and done giving your energy to anything that no longer serves you. Because today, you step into your highest self. And that, queens, is the truth they never saw coming. When you reclaim your power, when you stop chasing, when you truly move on, you become untouchable. If this message hit home, like, share, and subscribe to spread this wisdom. Drop a comment below. I choose myself. Stay unstoppable.